to start lying down today. So just lying down on your backs and being preferably comfortable, I would say, to start with. Make sure you're also warm, so we'll be there for a few minutes, and I invite you to be cozy and comfortable. A good place to start from into this week that is leading up to more change, as I already indicated, with spaces opening up. Now, tonight will be my first class out there in the public, but it will be in a park. So if any one of you is local to Bayswater, it's from the Bayswater studio, and there's still some spots if you want to practice outside tonight. So having said that, now that you're lying down on your back, I would ask you to take a deep breath in and then open the mouth and let the breath out. However it exits your mouth then, and repeat that for 2 more breaths. So breathing in fully and deeply, and then either when you open the mouth, the breath just escapes through a wide open mouth, or maybe there's a noise that comes along with it and it becomes more of a sigh. Exploring that for 1 more breath, and then after that, beginning to notice how you're feeling now. Maybe that created a tiny change in the way that you're feeling. Maybe. I will ask you to bring the awareness to your breath now, and to tap into the natural flow of the breath as it is now after those 3. And just noticing that there's movement in the body, that the breath moves through the nostrils, and that there's a sensation that comes along with that. And that could be that gentle movement or just the sensation of air moving through the nose. From where I invite you into full yogic breathing, Ujjayi technique, most welcome that slight constriction in the back of the throat, but not essential. So I invite you to breathe into the lower belly, into the lower rib cage, and then right up to the collarbones. And when you're breathing out, letting the belly come back in, and the ribs, and then the higher chest. And then each breath flows like that, belly, ribs to collarbones, in and out of the nose. As you're establishing a pattern for yourself, see if you can find a comfort within this extension of breathing. And while you establish a breathing pattern that you might invite into your practice today, I will read to you a poem by Rumi. I am the pure light, my son. I am not a handful of worthless dust. I am not just an empty shell. I am a regal pearl formed in this world. Close your eyes to see and become aware of me. Perceive me with eyes that see the unseen. Come into the mystery to find me. I am a carefree visitor here for you. Approaching your practice, we'll get back to this poem at the end of the class. Approaching your practice in a way that allows you to ground, but also to stand proud. As I invite you from this lying position to keep your breath flowing just as it is. And whether your legs are out long or your feet are on the ground is not important. I invite you to bring your right knee over your chest and then hug it in as you might interlace your hands across the shin. Drawing the leg in towards your body, allowing the shoulders to be soft. And inquiring into the left leg, whether that is in a suitable position or if you feel you need to step the foot onto the ground or extend the leg. And then use your next out breath and hug the right knee in a bit closer. Taking a breath in, and as you're exhaling, you might choose to lift your nose up towards the knee. Then releasing again onto your back. And only if it feels right, let your left hand slide down towards your ankle. Bring the ankle a little bit in, allow the knee to move a little bit out, and then hug the leg back in towards your body. So just a little bit out of center. To release from this side, step your foot onto the ground. That's your right one. If you had both feet grounded in the first round, keep it there. Otherwise, let the right knee fall out to the right side and then slide your leg out long. Noticing and maybe resting the hands down onto the hips and noticing just how these two sides are feeling. Allowing your mind also to wander down the leg. Now bringing your left knee over your chest, and as you interlace the hands, you might change to the awkward interlace, using an out breath to hug the left knee in towards your chest. Feeling now into the right leg and noticing if you want its foot to be on the ground or your leg to be extended. On your next out breath, could you lift your head and shoulders and tuck your nose towards the knee? Then releasing again onto your back. Your choice now to slide your right hand to your left ankle, to pull the ankle in and allow the knee to open a bit out towards the side, and then hugging the left leg in closer again. Same as on the other side. To release that, might you just step the foot onto the ground or let your knee fall out and then sliding the leg out long. Absolutely your choice. I will ask you next to step both feet onto the mat. To open the arms out, maybe shoulder height or slightly below. Check in with your shoulders, notice what's feeling right. And then let your knees for a moment just roll over towards the right-hand side. Don't force them anywhere, just let them fall. Let gravity do its job. No particular alignment. But if you notice once the legs have fallen over and you need something else, maybe stacking the legs or bringing them further apart, just go down that path and follow the sensations in the body, trusting your own intuition. Taking now your left arm across and touching it, left hand on top of the right, as you're rolling over onto your right-hand side. And then as you're taking a breath in, let your left hand slide across the chest and open up, and maybe even following your hand with your gaze, deepening the twists that we had before. First now turning your head to center And then bringing the knees back to center. Allow yourself to check in before you come to the other side and maybe making little adjustments in the way that you're lying down your back. Now allowing the knees to fall towards the left-hand side. And again, just let them fall to this side as well. Noticing how it feels and if there's anything you can do to extend or make this pose more comfortable, depending on what's needed within your body. We will then bring the right arm across and touch the right hand upon the left as we're lying on the left-hand side now. And on your next breath in, just drawing the right hand across your arm, then the chest, and maybe if that's right for you, following the right hand with your gaze for a deeper experience of your lying twists. From this place, bring your knees back into the center and then both knees over the chest and give them both a good hug in towards you. If you like a rocking sensation from side to side, that might be a way to start from here. And if that feels good, and only if it really feels good, then start rocking forward and backwards. And if that feels good, use that as a momentum to rise up to sitting. And then from sitting, coming onto all fours. So separating your knees once you've landed on hands and knees, so they come underneath the hips. The hands are further apart, about shoulder distance. We're spreading out the fingers onto the mat and becoming a bit stronger now in the body, learning to trust our support, that we can hold ourselves upright, encouraging the shins and the tops of the feet into the mat, as well as the hands. And we're kind of using, as if we're pushing the floor away, the arms to create space in the upper back. Now let's take a breath in, lifting the tail and the gaze. And then a breath out as we're rounding the back and returning the hips to the heels. Keep your hands and knees glued to the ground as they are. We want to keep our line up for all fours. As we inhale, lifting tail and gaze again. And when you're breathing out, rounding the back and returning hips towards the heels, keeping hands, knees in their spot. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in, lifting tail and gaze. And breathing out and rounding, returning the hips towards the heels. Now I will encourage a new movement. Come back onto all fours from here. Taking a breath in as you're lifting your left leg and lightly your gaze. And when you're breathing out, return the knee to the ground, the hips towards the heels. Now we will do that again as you breathe in, lifting the left leg, open the gaze. And as you're breathing out, return to the extended child's pose. Do that one more time. Breathe in as you come to all fours, make it 3 and lift the left leg, extend your gaze. And as you're breathing out, sitting back towards the heels. Returning onto all fours. Now we're extending the right leg back. As you lift your gaze lightly, you breathe in. And then with the exhalation, landing the knee and returning hips towards the heels. Let's breathe in, extend the right leg, lift the gaze. And exhaling, land your knee to the ground, hips to the heels. Once more on this side, breathing in to lift. Breathing out to return the hips towards the heels. Now on your next inhalation, come back onto all fours. Notice if your stance has gotten a little bit out of shape. And then as you inhale, lift your left arm and maybe follow it with the gaze. It's a thread the needle movement, but we're not touching the ground. So while you're breathing out, reach your left arm through underneath the right and follow it with the gaze. Do that again. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, threading it through. Once more, breathe in to lift and breathe out to thread. And this time you could land down onto your ear and your shoulder. I will leave it up to you to extend the right arm forward or maybe to come up onto the fingertips and lift a bit more through the right shoulder. So just noticing what feels right for you today. As you're looking along the floor underneath the right arm, you might choose to extend the right leg. You can keep your toes tucked under here, just extend into the leg, or if you're feeling confident and grounded, you could also lift the right leg here. If you did anything with your right leg, bring your knee back down to the ground, plant your right hand onto the mat and extend again onto all fours. We will repeat the same movement now with the right arm. So while you inhale, lift your right arm, follow it with the gaze. And then as you're exhaling, reach through, try not to touch the floor, look underneath your left arm. On the in-breath, lift the right arm, follow it, looking up. And exhale to reach underneath. Do that one more time, breathing in. And then as you're breathing out, thread the needle and here the same option now to land onto ear and shoulder. Exploring maybe to extend the left arm or come onto the left hand fingertips. More important than that is to keep your gaze along the floor. Resting quite comfortably onto ear and shoulder. And if you want further extension, you might lift your left knee off the ground, extending the leg back, and you can choose to keep the toes tucked under on the floor or even lift the leg up into the air. All just different choices for you to play with. If you have chosen to lift the leg, land the knee again. Land the left hand back onto the ground. Push yourself back up onto all fours. Take a deep breath, open your heart and lift your tail. And as you're exhaling, round your back and retreat back onto the heels into a child's pose. Now, if you're wearing socks still like myself, it's a good excuse to pull the socks off the feet as we will explore to stand on those. So coming onto all fours again, tuck your toes under, lift the knees off the ground and find yourself in your first downward facing dog. Leave the shoulders open, wide, the hands spread wide onto the ground, but you might start to move now through the feet, through the knees, maybe also through your hips. So finding a little bit of movement in this down dog. And if you want more movement, that's perfectly fine too, as you could also walk out a little bit through the arms and get deeper into the movement. On your next breath in, take a wave into your back and come forward into a plank. Now, plank is not everyone's cup of tea, no excuses needed. If you want your knees on the ground, bring them there. Still keep the space in the upper back. If your knees are off the floor, encourage back into the heels. Aim to draw the tailbone down towards the heels to fully switch on through the core. Then let's lower the knees down onto the ground. And on the out breath, keep your elbows close, lowering down onto the mat. Untuck your toes. Let's breathe in and wave up into a gentle cobra. So head and heart are lightly lifted, and you're stretching down through the toes, keeping the tops of the feet firmly on the ground. Please observe if your core is on and the glutes lightly. And if that works for you, could you then lift your hands a little bit off the ground? Allow them here to hover. See what happens with that tiny action of lifting through the hands, what change is created in the back. And if you're not too sure, just touching the hands down gently, light support, and then lifting them again. Let's all release the pose. Soften the forehead down towards the mat. On your breath in, lift up onto all fours. Tuck the toes under, and as you're rounding, stretching then the hips up and back, we're in a puppy pose. Also welcome alternative to down dog if that's a bit much for you today. Otherwise, lift the knees and find your down dog now. We'll take a breath in and lift our left leg. Now on the out breath, bring your knee in towards the chest. On the breath in, extending the leg back. Now on the out breath, take your knee more towards your left elbow. On a breath in, extend the leg again. And now on the breath out, reaching with your foot forward between your hands. So aiming with your left foot forward, grounding it down. And if you need help for that, that is most welcome. Let's then bend the right knee behind us. Roll ourselves up. If you need help, please bring your hands on top of your thighs. And then take a breath to lift the arms up for a high lunge. If ever you need your back heel to the ground, don't be shy to get it there. But if possible, keep it off the floor and bring a light bend into your left knee. Left knee is bent anyway as we're in a lunge. Let's turn the palms to face backwards so that we're kind of turning the elbows forward. And with that, bringing some space again into the back. If it feels right, could you lift your gaze upwards? Maybe lifting a little bit more through the sternum, allowing the lift to come from more upper to mid back. As you're next breathing in, lean a little bit forward. You could hop your back foot in, but as you're breathing out now, make fists and lift your knee up in front. I know I'm asking a lot. Let's take a breath in, reaching the arms up. And as you're next exhaling, extend the leg forward, bring your elbows into your sides. Let's reach towards the front, breathing in as you land your foot to the ground. Breathing out and just bringing the fists back in. Now let's reach forward again, inhaling. Hop the foot in or bring the knees straight up with fists. As we're breathing in, extend the arms. And as we're breathing out, bring the fists in again, extending the leg forward. Let's open this time, breathe in. Place your ankle towards your thigh and then breathe out as you're pulling your fists back in and bending your standing leg. Now I've just guided you to a little bit of hip opening here. So be mindful how much can you do what's right for you. It's also a bit of a balance. So if you need some support, you might reach for it. Hands could also lower down to your ankle and your calf. Remember, I'm offering options to go deeper. If you don't want to go deeper, don't. Maybe the forearms come down. Maybe you're using all the furniture in the room. Now from here, let's lift. Release the foot down onto the floor. Ground through both of your feet. Stretch your arms up. Take a breath in. Then have a sigh out. Relax the arms. Give the arms a bit of a swing. Have a bit of a bounce in your step here too. And then find your mountain pose. And I hope you feel a huge difference. I currently feel very heavily grounded through one side, and the other one just feels a little bit out of touch with the ground. Maybe you feel something different. That's okay too. Let's breathe in. Lift the arms again as you're extending your gaze. Then bend your knees as you're breathing out, folding all the way down and forward. On your in-breath, lengthen for a half lift. And on your breath out, walk your feet back into downward facing dog. Let's add a bit Vinyasa. As you breathe in, roll the spine forward. Finding your plank, kneeling again is very welcome. If you want to hold the full one, even the Vinyasa is very slow flowing. Encourage the heels back, tailbone down towards the heels, nice and firm, upper back. I do recommend to bring the knees down, but that's not a must either. Bring your elbows by your side as you exhale, lower down towards the ground. Revisiting our cobra, on the breath in, wave up through the spine. You can still keep it tiny. If you want to extend your arms more, that's now an option too. Feeling, however, the tops of the feet firmly in the floor, the legs engaged, the glutes slightly supporting the posture. And if it felt good in the first round, you might lift your hands just slightly off the floor. Find yourself here, breathing, lifted, strong, yet supported all the way from the ground. On the next out breath, release the upper body down. Breathe in, push up to all fours, tuck your toes, and I would love you to stretch the hips up and back first. And then either staying there or coming back into down dog. Please do feel free to move from all fours if the down dog feels a bit strong this morning. We will take the right leg up this time as you inhale. On the exhalation, bring your knee in towards the chest. And then as you inhale, extend the leg back. Now on your out breath, take your right knee in the direction of your right elbow. So basically what we've done lying down. On the in-breath, extending the leg back. And then on the out breath, bringing your right foot forward. Help it as much as is needed. Bend into your back knee and curl yourself up. You can use your hands on your thighs. And as you inhale, then lifting the arms. So there's no rush to get to this place. And if it's required for you, you can land your back heel to the mat for more stability. Just notice how that impacts your body. Now, the same as we did before, turn the palms to face backwards so that the little fingers are very close towards each other. And with that, the elbows are facing forward. From here, keeping the light bend in the back knee, lifting potentially through your gaze, but more important through the sternum. From here, we will start to extend, extending the body a little bit forward, either hopping in or bringing in the knee, the fists, and the elbows. On the breath in now, extending the arms back towards the ceiling. And then bring the fists back in, And you might extend the leg forward. On the in-breath, lifting the arms and the knee again. And then stepping the foot back as we're releasing the arms in on the out-breath. So we're keeping our arms moving along. Let's inhale, stretch forward again. And on the out-breath, bring fists and knee back in. Again, furniture sometimes very welcome. Let's inhale to reach the arms up. And then out-breath, fists in, leg extends to the front. Now this time as you inhale, bring your ankle onto your thighs and reach your arms out to help with the balance. And then either keep the arms wide or bring the hands down as you're bending your knee a little bit more. So hands could rest towards the leg, ankle, maybe even the calf. And if this feels all right, could you lower the forearms down as well? Maybe there's a light engagement here through the left ankle joint to protect. We will release this posture by standing with both feet on the ground, stretching the arms up, deep breath in, and then have a sigh and let that go. Allowing yourself after a bit of swing through the arms to find your standing position, to connect back with the feet into the mat, to really use the support of the feet, the legs and the glutes, and to allow a few shrugs and movements into the shoulders and the arms. We've got a solid foundation, and once that feels a bit lighter, you might close the eyes or steady your gaze. And taking a few of your full deep yogi breaths, acknowledging that there's air around you and space, a space in which you can feel safe and grounded, but with lots of room to expand as well. On your next breath in, let's lift the arms and the gaze again. And as you're breathing out, just stepping your left foot back into a lunge. On the breath in, let's lift the arms again. Maybe straighten through both legs. And when you're breathing out, I will encourage you to lower your left heel, bring a bend into the right knee and take your hands to your heart. So this is a warrior one stance. If there's something going on around your back hip that doesn't feel right, keep the heel off the floor. Let's inhale again. Straighten the arms, the legs, and lift the heel. And as you're breathing out, lower the heel, bend the front knee, and hands back to the heart. Keeping your torso nice and tall. Let's do that again. Inhaling, extend your legs, arms, and breath out to lower into a warrior one with the hands at the heart. Now we keep ourselves in this warrior stance now. Ideally the heel is grounded, but most of the weight sits more towards the outer edge of the back foot. So we've got that beautiful extension down the leg. On the next breath in, keep the legs, as I said, like this, but extend your arms again. And now still keep the legs. Exhale, open the arms to the open side. Maybe the palms are facing up, so shoulders are free of stress. On the next breath in, lift the arms and maybe even your gaze. And on the out breath, do the same, but turn towards the other side. Let's do that once more to each side. Breathing in and breathing out for a twist. Notice if you need any changes there in your back leg. Inhaling, lifting the arms, and then turning to the other side as you're breathing out. On the next in-breath, just lifting through the back heel and the arms. And as you're breathing out, releasing the hands to the mat. Step it back into a downward facing dog. And allows you back into a little vinyasa. So while you breathe in, roll the spine forward. Lean into a plank or a kneeling plank. What's in common here is the strength in the arms and the tailbone moving backwards. Your choice to lower the knees, to come down as you're breathing out. Keep your elbows closed down by your sides and land on your mat. Let your right arm and your left arm both extend alongside your body, keeping your chin resting on the ground. And as you're taking a breath in, extend right down into the tops of the feet and lift a little bit through the upper body. From there, could you also lift your arms away from the floor? Starting to spread out into the fingers, leaving the palms of the hands shining upwards. And you could, if that's in the range of movement for your shoulders, then hook up your thumbs and lift the arms a little bit away from the back. Keeping the tops of the feet grounded. On the next breath in, maybe lifting a little bit higher. And then as you're breathing out, release your arms, place your right ear to the floor, let your heels fall out a bit, and if a movement through the pelvis is beneficial, you could have that too. We will return to all fours or down dog. So place your hands by your side. Take yourself to all fours. Either stay there or come into a downward facing dog. Making your way in your own time and manner towards the front of the mat. Whether you're walking through the feet, you're stepping, or you're daring to jump is up to you. As you come to the front of the mat, half lift here on your in-breath. Then exhaling to lower. As you breathe in, push into the ground, rising up, extend your arms, extend your heart. And as you're exhaling, bring the hands all the way through the midline, back down by your sides. Allow yourself to reconnect to the ground underneath that's holding and supporting you, as well as to all of this beautiful space that is there around you to use for your breathing and to expand the body. Inhale again, reach your arms up. And hands to the heart while you're stepping your right foot back. On the in-breath, extend both legs and reach your arms up to the ceiling. Hands now come back to the heart and explore the possibility of lowering your heel at the back to the ground while bending your front knee. And pause for a moment, just checking in. Is this right for your hips, for your lower back? Just exploring that idea. And then we might repeat it. On the in-breath, lift your heel, extend both legs, extend the arms. Hands to the heart and a warrior one stance when exhaling. Do that one more time. Breathe in, extending the body. And then breathing out just to land again. Now, if it feels right for the body to stand in this warrior one, hold it. Otherwise, you might explore that through a lunge. On the in-breath, lifting the arms. On your out-breath, open out your arms and into a twist. Breathing in to reach back up. Keep the legs unchanged. And breathe out, open the arms into a twist to the closed side. Let's do that once more to each side. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, open. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling for your twists. Inhaling, as you're lifting, lift the heel back off the ground. And as you're breathing out, lower your hands back down onto the mat and return into a downward facing dog. As always, your 4 stands is a very lovely alternative. Let's inhale, roll the spine forward, returning into a plank. Kneeling plank is fine. Pause here for a moment. Strong upper back, strong core, tailbone drawing backwards. Your choice to bring the knees down to lower on your next exhalation. Resting the forehead down and extending the arms again alongside the body. Maybe start with the left arm this time and then the right. It's the forehead or the chin resting down for now, as we're starting to engage back down into the tops of the feet. On a breath in, lifting through the upper body, noticing your support from legs and glutes, and then maybe lifting the arms again. Now, I gave the opportunity before to hook up the thumbs. If you do that, hook them up in an awkward way. Keeping the arms maybe lifted away from the back. Keep grounding through the feet. Use your legs and maybe lift a bit more into your back bend. Fingers are spread out. Let's take another couple of breaths. Once they are completed, release the back bend. Left ear comes to the mat. Let the whole body soften into position. Eyes might be closed for a moment. There's an opportunity to move the pelvis. Then center the head again, hands landing by the side of your ribs. Push yourself up onto all fours and then maybe extending into down dog. I would ask you to just walk the feet a bit forward into the center. Turn yourself sideways and step your feet a little bit apart so that you can turn your toes out towards the corners of the mat. Bring a bend into the knees, then take a breath in, push into the feet and lift your arms up into a tall standing position. As you're breathing out, open the arms and bend into both of your knees. So a kind of a modified goddess pose. The toes are turned out and the knees are just following the alignment of the toes. Taking a deeper breath in as you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, opening a bit through the heart space. And when you're breathing out, let your right arm come underneath your left. Wind your arms up either to embrace your shoulders or to bring the hands together for eagle arms. Leaving the shoulders quite relaxed, your knees in a bend, and we'll start moving from here. Let's sway. Sway with arms, whole torso. Begin to move into the legs and find your way forward and down. Keep swaying a little bit as you're down here and maybe feeling the fingertips brushing along the floor, depending on where your arms are. And then find your way back up. pausing as you're bending your knees and sinking back into your goddess pose. On a breath in, open the arms, extend into your legs. Palms might be facing upwards. And as you're breathing out, bend the knees again and squeeze the shoulder blades a bit closer. It is now your left arm that goes under, as we're embracing either the shoulders or touching the hands together. Let your shoulders, no matter which position you're in, relax. Keep your knees bent, aligning with the toes. And then start to sway again. Move the whole upper body. Try and move the round up arms a bit and find your way forward and down. As you make your way forward and down, once you're all the way down, and if your fingertips are touching the floor, but we'll all keep swaying, they will brush along the mat. I will invite you now to release the arms, to stay in your forward bend. Place the hands down or towards the floor and realign your feet. So you're turning the heels a bit outwards, so the outer edges of the feet are now in line with the outer edges of your mat. You can use a block here if the floor is too far away. Let's lengthen the spine forward, breathing in. And then breathing out to deepen the forward fold. Now hands can stay on the floor if they get there at all, or on your block. You would lift the shoulders lightly up into the sockets. And if possible, let the head hang so that the neck is getting a little bit of length just by the head encouraging downwards through gravity. The weight sits slightly forward in the feet. And you might, if it got lost in between, revisit your full yogi or ujjayi breath, taking your emphasis onto the exhalations and maybe engaging through Mula Bandha on these out breaths by drawing the skin under the navel through towards the tailbone. It's a subtle drawing, not a locking in. Stay with this forward bend for 3 more breaths. I will invite you after the 3 breaths to just heel and toe the feet a little bit in, and to then place your knees down as we come to sit. Let your legs come out in front of you. Now, my knees are on and off, happy and very unhappy. So be mindful about your knees too. So I give you 2 options. Option number 1 is to bend the left knee and to bring the foot by the side of the hip. This is quite challenging for the knee, and I would love you to just keep the leg aligning as it naturally comes rather than to enforce this. So the knee is in a safe bend. Ideally, your knees here will be touching, but if yours is a bit open, unless there's a pull here, that's fine. If this doesn't suit you, you can open the knee out to the side for more of a Janu Shirshasana as we're folding forward. So your choice, and noticing that this has a different effect as well. So let's bring the hands down, take a deep breath in wherever you are and lengthen through the spine. And then as you're breathing out, walking the hands forward. Now, if your foot is on the outside of the hip rather than the inside of the opposite leg, you might not get very far. And that's something that you would want to embrace. No matter how far you will get into this forward fold, embracing yourself and this opportunity as it is at this moment, wholeheartedly, using a couple more out breaths to deepen this experience. You've completed those breaths. You will walk the hands back and we will change sides. Now, I will be your example for imbalance in the body, because on this side, it's not quite right for me to sit like this and fold forward, too much pressure. So I will choose the other variation here. Please make your own choices. Bring your fingertips to the ground, lengthen through the spine as we inhale, and then walking the hands forward, approaching your forward fold. Again, no matter which way you've chosen, just embrace yourself. This body is perfect right now. Whatever it is presenting with, we embrace it. And we're using a few more breaths to deepen. And once you've had your next exhalation, you will walk the hands back up into a seated position, extending both legs out to the front for a moment. Now, I would ask you to gather your things for relaxation, to pop your socks and jumpers back on if you like, and then to roll down onto your back. Once you're on your back, we'll find a very simple and gentle way to invert for a moment. So if that works for you, extend both legs up and both arms up, and allow your shoulders to drop to the floor. Allow your legs to be a bit separate here so that also the pelvis can ground again. And allowing yourself for a moment just to feel the heaviness of the pelvis, the shoulders, and your back against the ground. Re-inviting this sense of being held and supported. Before you're noticing all of this space around your arms and your legs, and begin to use this space by shaking arms and legs out. This is not a big movement. This is more like a jiggling movement. And I would love you to keep the hips grounded as well as the shoulders, and observe this for a moment. And you could do that with the eyes open or closed. Then stop the shaking. Keeping arms and legs within this space, and draw some of this space that supports you there into the body by taking a deep breath in. And then on the exhalation, give both knees a good squeeze in towards the chest. Landing your feet down onto the ground and finding all the support that you need for your relaxation. So you can pop something underneath the knees, you can extend the legs out or keep the feet on the ground. The usual rules for your Shavasana as you come to lie there, even more supported. Creating for yourself, with all of the little cushions and things that you might use, a place of comfort. A place of comfort where you can solely focus on letting the body be. Inviting physical stillness to encourage stillness or to move towards a calmer mind. With your body now resting, We'll explore the poem a little bit more, as here it also says this poem is linked to a card, which is the Al-Uza star of Venus. My beautiful one, born of pure radiance. You have love in your heart and a passion for play that cannot be dulled by bleakness, boredom, or fear. Your soul is sensual and dances with life with utter abandonment and devotion. Though the ways of this world seem strange to you at times, you eventually declare it to be nothing but strange beauty and expand your heart, resisting nothing, to allow all to be bathed in the radiance of your being. You are here to share the light of another world, a blessed world of consciousness pure and divinity so absolute that it transcends duality and instead brings all into the oneness of the greatest love. And here's Rumi's poem again. I am the pure light, my son. I am not a handful of worthless dust. I am not just an empty shell. I'm a regal pearl formed in this world. Close your eyes to see and become aware of me. Perceive me with eyes that see the unseen. Come into the mystery to find me. I am a carefree visitor here for you. Begin to deepen your breathing. Move a little or stretch a lot. And come to an upright seated position, in which we will stay for a little Brahmari. So if you need any support, pop that underneath you. Lean against something if you prefer, support against your back, but aim to sit upright and tall in the spine. You're welcome to use all techniques that you might have within your practice in relation to the bee breath or Brahmari, such as the mudra that closes our eyes and ears and mouth. Or just sit with me here as we're going through only a few rounds of Brahmari. It's very simple. We're breathing in through the nose and we're humming the breath out. Let's start together and then you can continue into the flow. I'll tell you before the last one. Breathing in. Next one is the last. And sit with the vibration and the awareness. Let's bring the hands together, touching in front of the chest for Anjali Mudra. Touching to our own hearts as we feel the ground underneath is still there to support us. So is the space all around us. As we touch the heart, we more deeply connect to the energy that we might have created through this practice before extending the awareness to each other. Namaste.